practical on Thursday, we'll have 13 stations like the last one did. 12 will have 8 questions. Number 13 will only have 4 questions. It's kind of like a place to catch your breath a little bit. A lot of the muscles, there'll be 4 questions on. Identify it, what's its origin, insertion, action, or homology. So be ready for that, okay? Because we only did superficial, there's not enough muscles to have 100 muscle questions on the exam of just identification. So the thing you got to be careful about is, if I'm asking you, name this muscle, what's its origin, what's its insertion, what's its action, and you misname this muscle, then you may get everything else wrong. So you've got to be really careful about that, all right? So let's begin with the throat here. Here we can see the big muscles on the side. Those are the masseters. Between the 2 masseters, we have our 2 digastric muscles. What muscle is this homologous to in the shark? Ryan knows, because I picked on him last week about it.
The digastrus?
Yeah, what are they homologous to in the shark? I'm sorry? Intermandibularis, you said? Yes, it is. Good job. And then here, we have a muscle you want me to ask origin and insertion on, right? Sternohyoid. From the manubrium to the hyoid, and I would take from sternum to hyoid. On the side here, sternomastoid, right? Again, origin, insertion, you want those for neck muscles, right? And then the one that's a little hard to see, and I might have to dissect that out a little bit when it's time, but right behind it here, we have our clavotrapezius, right there, under the external jugular, okay? So, I am not above doing a little dissecting when I'm setting up your exam to clean up borders and all that to make things look a little easier for you. All right, continuing on down here. Obviously, pectoralis superficialis, and behind it, pectoralis profundus. Don't forget to be aware of these little muscles here that look like shark gills in the shoulder area. These are the serratus ventralis, right? Latissimus dorsi, going back up onto the arm here, our acromiodeltoid. For some of your animals, it has a nice blood vessel running along it, doesn't it? To separate it from the pectoralis superficialis. And then, of course, we have this little muscle here, the epitrochlearis. And then getting on to the forearm, right? Now with the forearm, ventral forearm, all are flexors or pronators. It's going to go PF, PF. Our first muscle, see if I can do this without blocking the view, is a fairly short muscle. It doesn't run the full length, it doesn't have to. That's the pronator teres. Then we get our flexor carpi radialis, because we're on the radial side, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay? And then of course this little muscle in here that kind of still carved out a little bit of fascia. Let's see if this one shows it better. I can't believe I gave her a 10. That's the biceps femoris, right? Right there. That'll be on the other side. Brachialis is on the other side. Oh, did I say femoris? I'm sorry, yeah, biceps femoris. Biceps brachii. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, so that's the ventral arm, chest. On the abdomen, there's not a lot, is there? You got the external abdominal obliques. You got your aponeurosis. Now, I could tag the muscle under this aponeurosis because you can see it pretty well, right? That's the rectus abdominis. And of course, that's one you want origin or insertion because they can be alternated, right? Pubis can be the insertion and pubis can be the origin. All right, then we get to the thigh. And there's not a lot on ventral thigh because we didn't go through the muscles. But the muscle above the femoral artery and vein, gluteus superficialis again, right? Then we're going to have our gracilis. And a lot of these animals, we can see the semitendinosus. And then right there, gastrocnemius. On some of these animals under the gastrocnemius, you'll be able to see, if I fold this back, right underneath there, the soleus. Okay, the soleus works with the gastrocnemius. You can see this on your own legs, right? If you stand up on your tippy toes, like I have to do to reach the middle shelf, you'll see your gastrocnemius and soleus separate from each other. All right, so that takes care of, I think, all of this here. Let's flip them over, or her over. the back here, of course, easy to identify muscle, temporalis, right? Here we have all the acromion-trapezius, a little bit of fat there, so let's see if this one looks a little better. Yeah, here we go. All the acromion-trapezius, spinodeltoid here, and we should be able to see, maybe not with this little guy, but a lot of these animals on the side, you'll be able to see a little bit of your clavotrapezius as well. Let's see. Okay, there she is. Right there. Clavotrapezius, acromion-trapezius. And of course, the third trapezius is back here, spinotrapezius. That sits on top of this large muscle here, the latissimus dorsi. But going back here, spinodeltoid, we had our acromiodeltoid, triceps brachii, brachialis, and then the extensor group. And same thing, we start radial side and work our way to ulnar side. And they're all going to be extensors, right? See how I stretch this guy out? Here's the extensor carpi radialis. I'm not sure I'm going to have you worry about long versus short head, but long has a higher origin, so it has to extend a greater length to get to the insertion. That's why it's called long. In reality, most of that length is tendon, but we give it to it. So there's the long head, there's the short head. And then, of course, the larger muscle here, extensor digitorum communis, extensor digiti number 4, number 5, and then the large muscle here, extensor carpi ulnaris. Okay? Looks like one of you wants me to do this again. So, here's our extensor carpi radialis, long and short head, extensor communis, digitorum communis, extensor digiti 4, extensor digiti 5. Of course, we're going from from thumb to pinky side, right? So 4 and 5, and then extensor carpi ulnaris. All right, everyone else done that? I know it's tiny. Okay, so coming down here, of course, the only muscle anywhere between the lat and the butt, external abdominal oblique. And then, nice big gluteus superficialis. Sounds like the guy I want to be used to date. A superficial butt. Nice big biceps femoris here. Gastrocnemius. And because we didn't go deep on the thigh, you couldn't see the shin muscles, so soleus and gastrocnemius are plenty. Okay? So that's why there's more organ insertion and action questions, because we don't have a lot of muscles. Anybody need me to do that again, or are you all set?